Call it karma. Meghan Markle, Prince Harry's desperate appearance at Las Vegas Katy Perry concert. Hello, friends. Welcome to the King YouTube channel. It seems like there might be a few problems in the House of Sussex, specifically with the Duke. Here was Prince Harry looking all depressed and glum at a Katy Perry show in Las Vegas over the weekend. Now, Perry loves some glitter, she loves rainbows, and she loves cheer. It's the kind of guaranteed fluff that compels even Meghan Markle to shake her booty. Meanwhile, Harry looked like he'd just received the worst diagnosis ever. That sour look on his face reminded us of America's reigning champ of misery, Ben Affleck. Do you remember what he looked like at this year's Grammys, simmering and sulking next to his glamorous wife J-Lo? Reportedly, Jennifer Lopez even snapped at him at one point, "Look motivated." Well, maybe that's a note that Harry should also take, unless, as I suspect, he wants everybody to know just how miserable he really is. After all, this is not new territory for Harry. Back in September, Harry, wearing that gray suit, stood still as a statue at Beyoncé's sparkling Renaissance show. He was checking his phone with a pout on his face while Meghan was dancing and cheering from their private box at California's SoFi Stadium. And that told us all we need to know. Harry, for all his money, his fame, his privilege, and access, for all that hard work finding freedom, at his core, he is still resentful and angry and bitter. This is a middle-aged man. He's almost 40, and he still views the world through the narrowest of apertures. He's reflecting his obvious narcissism and immaturity. Before Meghan, it seemed like Harry was the fun-loving prince, but now that Harry is absolutely gone. And it's not somebody who, unlike his late mother, finds post-Windsor purpose in helping people who are less fortunate than himself. Instead, he wants to get into relationships with companies like Netflix, and he wants to throw these public self-pity parties. So it looks like Harry has become a colossal drag. Look no further than his father's historic coronation in May. Harry without Meghan and seated third row. Instead of acting accordingly, instead of accepting that olive branch, Harry refused to go back to Buckingham Palace after the ceremony. He didn't say a single word to his father or his brother. Instead, he went right back to LA, a whirlwind 28 hours that left the royals confused. A friend of the royal family spoke with Vanity Fair, and this insider said that Harry's behavior left them wondering why he had bothered to come at all. One makes one's choices, the source said. Well, that's true. And now it looks like Harry is experiencing something that, considering the constantly traumatized look on his face, seems unfamiliar to him. Consequences. There are so many people who have warned Harry since he embarked on this inglorious exile that he and Meghan were bound to face some repercussions for their choices. I know it was fun in the beginning, sitting down with Oprah and slinging those baseless accusations of racism around, hardly even trying to conceal their malevolent, profiteering impulses behind self-actualization and that Montecito sunshine. And it turns out that Meghan and Harry have become laughingstocks. Obviously, they don't think it's funny, though, so it looks like the gloves are off. The schadenfreude is delicious. In that now infamous South Park episode, Harry and Meghan were absolutely torn apart. They were portrayed as professional victims who, as one character complains, refuse to go away despite proclaiming they want no attention. I'm sick of hearing about them. I can't get away from them. I think we all feel that way. And that was back in February. That was just a few weeks after Harry's book Spare, called When the South Park episode, came out. The would-be literary classic became fodder for late-night talk shows. Jimmy Kimmel made fun of Harry's frostbitten penis. Stephen Colbert, who interviewed Harry, compared him to Harry Potter and forced him to drink some tequila shots for cheap laughs. But that was not the end of their humiliation. Spotify dumped Meghan's podcast in June and canceled Meghan and Harry's $20 million deal altogether. An executive at Spotify, Bill Simmons, publicly castigated Harry and Meghan as effing grifters. Another animated series, Family Guy, also went after them a few weeks ago. Harry and Meghan were sitting beside a pool as a butler approaches them to hand Harry a check. "Sir," he says, "your millions from Netflix for no one knows what." And then Harry says, "Put it with the rest of them." Over the weekend, the former Vanity Fair editor Graydon Carter took yet another shot at Harry and Meghan. He predicted that their marriage would last years rather than decades. Vanity Fair put Meghan on its cover back in 2017 with the headline, "She's just wild about Harry." Later on, Meghan claimed that was racist. So maybe this is all a part of Harry's anger. He and Meghan, that former Z-list actress on Suits, were expecting a new life. They were expecting to be American royalty. They thought they were going to be invited to the Met Gala, to the Oscars, to Barack Obama's 60th birthday party, to Oprah events, to George and Amal Clooney's humanitarian events, but none of that has happened. Most people in Hollywood are just laughing at them. Meghan had her grand moment this spring, as the Duchess of Hertz lets remember. And then the car chase after her through Midtown Manhattan was considered a farce, because that's what it was. And then they claimed that they shared a private jet with people like Cameron Diaz and Benji Madden and Avatar actress Zoe Saldana to see Katy Perry in Vegas. But even if that happened, which I don't think it did, it offers Harry very little consolation. Let's compare this current life of his to his former life as a royal. It has to seem cheap. I mean, just hanging out with mid-level celebs in a joyless scrum to prove what exactly? Seems like Harry also doesn't know. Meanwhile, his father's 75th birthday celebration is approaching. A friend of Charles spoke with the UK Sunday Times, saying there are issues that aren't resolved, and there won't be a rapprochement anytime soon. But that doesn't change the king's love for his son. He'll never not invite his son to a family gathering, because that's not who he is. Now, the implication is that Harry, not Meghan, but Harry, is always going to be invited, and he's always expected to turn those invitations down. And maybe he's even appreciated for it. Right now, Meghan is busy plotting her next move. We keep hearing there's going to be some type of reinvention, but Harry has to be wondering what is next for him. His memoir lingers in the trash bin. Spotify is done. Netflix is, I think, about to fall apart too, and his family can certainly never trust him again. He certainly has become the prince of his own pyre, the architect of his own misery. Maybe it's karma, maybe it's the consequences, maybe it's poetic justice. But this was always going to be the ending, our prince building something that was only ever going to burn completely down. You see, life only makes sense to Harry when he's being treated like a royal. He expects the protective detail, the armored cars, staying in palaces, everything. He's never been just Harry, and obviously he sees the rest of his life living among these celebrities as boring. It's such a shame that he doesn't have any talent, or maybe he could find a job and a whole new set of friends. And maybe this is not what he thought marriage to Meghan was going to be like. I think Harry would have preferred to stay at home with the children if they were real. By now, he should know the quiet life was not what Meghan ever wanted. He looks miserable now. He does look depressed. Well, I think he's learning the grass is not always greener on the other side. Unfortunately, though, there are many people who learn that only after they have made decisions they cannot take back, decisions that hurt other people. Could it be that Harry is finally understanding how far he has fallen? Well, considering his complete lack of self-awareness, I don't believe so. Gone are the days of rubbing elbows with the aristocracy. Now Harry has to hang out with the empty celebrity circuit. Well, it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy, right? Actions do have consequences, and now Harry is finding that out the hard way. And you, what do you think about him? Please tell me your opinion below in the comments. If you think my video is useful, don't be afraid to like and share with anyone else who would enjoy it. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.